Well, that was a stressful game. Oh my God. But Liverpool have done it. They've beaten Spurs away from home 2-1 to record their first away league victory of the season. Sounds crazy, but it's true. And this was a massive 3 points for Liverpool. It continues the trend of what's been a really inconsistent side, beating Man City, inflicting their only defeat of the season against them, beating Napoli, the most informed team in Europe, but yet losing to teams like Forest, losing to Leeds, bottom three sides. Liverpool have won in Spurs' backyard, and that is something that not a lot of teams will do this season. So result-wise, amazing. I'll take 3 points any way it comes right now. In this game, Liverpool reverted back to the 4-3-3, in the league at least. We had played 4-3-3 against Napoli in midweek, so Klopp's old tried and trusted formation, and it worked. We restricted Napoli to very few chances. Defensively, we looked better. We were able to control the game more. We were able to press better. We just looked a lot more familiar with the formation. And that was probably why Klopp switched back in the league for this game. The 4-4-2, it hasn't really given this defensive solidarity that I think Klopp was expecting. And that's probably why he scrapped it, because offensively it hasn't really helped us either. But we were back with the 4-4-3 against Spurs, and for once, we started a game well. Can you believe it? Especially away from home. That could be the only time this season we've started a game well away from home. Looked on it from the start and caused Spurs a lot of trouble. Núñez in particular, he was electric. He was such a danger in those first 10-15 minutes. A few really nice balls out to him on the left-hand side. So he was actually playing on the left of the three. Firmino in the centre, dropping deep, Salah on the right. The fear, I guess, previously with playing Núñez in a wide slot on the 4-3-3 is just because defensively he doesn't offer the same off-the-ball work or the same know-how in terms of how to cover and press. But he did really well in this game, particularly early on. He kept drifting wide, and that's something he naturally does in his game. It's something that he really punished Liverpool for last season with Benfica. It was probably the reason we ended up buying him. He looked so good out there, continuously drifting out wide, beat Kanate for speed a few times. He had beaten Matip, things that not a lot of defenders had done last season. But he looked really good today against Spurs, caused them a lot of trouble. Had a nice volley early on, took a shot at one point when he cut inside, ended up assisting Salah's goal. The goal was deserved at that point. We definitely looked the more likely side. We were passing the ball a lot better than Spurs. And Salah's first goal was brilliant. It was more like Salah from the first half of last season. Núñez plays it into him, 2 quick touches, left foot, and almost in the same movement, control and shot. And it was straight into the bottom corner with the laces. We haven't seen that kind of assured finish from Salah much this season. But he looked back to his best today. After we got the goal and we went ahead in the game, Spurs did start to come into the game more, and they had some sustained pressure. They did hit the post at one point from a cross. But we gradually started getting a foothold back in the game in the second part of that first half. And Salah's second goal was at a perfect time. Dyer made a terrible mistake. Salah ran through on goal, and what a finish. Great touch, brilliantly executed little dink over Lloris. It was a fantastic goal. And what a difference it makes when Salah is clinical. 2 shots, 2 goals. And Liverpool are looking in a really, really good position coming into the second half. Spurs are they have been notoriously slow starters though this season. They seem to conserve energy early in games and then come on strong. So we knew second half was going to be tough. But overall in that first half, it was probably the best 45 minutes away from home I've seen from Liverpool this season in that first half. Our pressing looked good. Our passing was good. We showed moments of quality up front. The team looked more compact. It was a really nice first half performance. Second half, we showed a different skill set. Off the ball work was still really strong. Pressing was good. Intensity was good. Going forward, we We lacked quality at times. There were some opportunities to counter-attack with Salah and Nunes. Weren't able to take any of them. But Spurs slowly grew more and more into the game. They kept playing further forward. They were pressing higher. And this is when, if Liverpool are at our best, Liverpool from last season, as Spurs left more space at the back, we punish them. We make use of some of those counter-attacking opportunities. But today we weren't able to do that. We weren't able to kill the game. And it meant that Spurs always felt like they could get back into it. Kane ended up scoring. It was a nicely taken finish, in fairness. And honestly, that last 20 minutes or so were incredibly stressful, very, very nervy. And we were, even though we defended well, generally, Spurs easily could have scored another goal. I can't say Spurs showed a huge amount of quality in terms of really cutting open the defence in that second half. But what they did do was they were very dangerous from corners and from crosses. They were really just continuously working the ball out wide. They'd pack the box. They've got tall players in there. They've got players who are good in the air. And they're playing in some real quality into the box. In particular with corners, they either seemed to hit the first man or they were hitting runners coming in around the 6-yard box. There were a lot of players in there, and a few times, I think it was Bentancur headed over, or Langley headed over from about 6 yards out. There were a few close moments. And then the other big threat was when Kulusevski came on. He was very dangerous. Made the assist for Kane's goal, playing him through. He plays on the right-hand side, continuously cuts in on his left, and kept playing these dangerous balls into the far post where Trent was, who had a mixed game. Showed some real moments of quality on the ball, as is common to see. Some nice crossfield passes, some nice decisive plays forward. But again, off the ball, he got beaten at least 2 or 3 times. People just kind of skip past him. But even that can happen as a fullback, especially playing really fast, quick wingers, or fast, tricky wingers. But arguably my bigger concern is how he gets caught under the ball quite easily, or he's ball watching and not quite in the right position. And when you have Kulusevski playing these crosses into the far post, and you look at the far post and you see who's there, Spurs are intentionally doubling up on him. They usually have 2 or 3 players waiting for the ball. And then you see it's just Trent there challenging. I mean, your heart skips a few beats. It can be quite stressful moments. It's something we really have to figure out a better way around this. Because ultimately, as much as I love Trent, he's the weak link at the back. And when teams are applying pressure, if someone's going to crack, it feels like the mistake is going to come from his side. Fortunately, though, in this second half, even though we played less and less football as the game went on, and even Thiago was continuously giving it away at times. Fortunately, though, our 2 centre-backs were immense. Van Dijk and Konate. Probably 2 of the best players you'd want if the other team's going to be just bombarding your box with crosses. Konate in particular, I mean, Gomez, he's made a lot of mistakes this season. He goes through these moments of playing well and then lapse of concentration, makes a mistake. Konate, though, he just has that presence about him. He's 6'4", he's a beast. And his physicality, the speed and the strength were key to getting the victory today. We need him to stay fit. He is a huge plus. With him and Van Dijk at the back, that is a real strong pairing. And we needed the 2 of them to win a bunch of challenges and crosses that came into the box against a very physical Spurs side. Now, Spurs easily could have equalised. There was a few moments where I thought the ball was going to go in. There were a few penalty shouts. As the game went on, we stopped playing football more and more. And eventually, Klopp took off Nunes, who was playing centre forward at the time, and put on Gomez, which kind of said it all. We moved to a 5 at the back. And at that stage, we almost just gave up trying to pass the ball, which, of course, is going to just lure the opposition onto you more and more and make us defend deeper and deeper. So there were definitely a few close calls in there. But overall, what I did love about the game, though, was the work rate was there. The pressing was there. The intensity was there. And unfortunately, those key characteristics of Klopp's sides haven't, I mean, I can't say that about a lot of games, especially away from home this season. In terms of expected goals, Spurs had about 1.8. Liverpool had about 1.5. So Spurs actually edged the expected goals. And it's a bit of a sign of what we've seen from a lot of Liverpool games in the Premier League this season. There's sort of been a coin flip, whether we win or lose, because the performance levels we haven't really dominated a lot of games, like convincingly won. And I think the fact is, until we improve those numbers and until we start posting results that are like, yeah, you were the dominant side, most times out of 10, you're going to win that game. Until we can do that, I mean, we're probably not really going to challenge for the top four. What I would say, though, is this was obviously an away game against a very good side. So in that case, your XG is probably going to be expected to be pretty close. What we have to, though, show is against the lesser sides, and especially at home, putting up some convincing numbers. And that's when the consistency is going to come back for this team. But as I said, from a compactness point of view, from a defensive point of view, we still gave away some chances, but in general, we were more back to basics again for this game, like against Napoli. And that's what we need to do. I think if we can figure things out on the defensive end and stop gifting so many big, clear-cut chances to the opposition, that will form the basis to then build our quality again going forward, because the quality is there. Next up, Derby midweek, and then last game before the World Cup at home against Napoli in the Premier League. If we can win that game, I mean, nothing's a sure thing if I've learned anything from watching Liverpool this season. But another 3 points in that game will go a long way. Reset after the World Cup, hopefully get somebody in January in the midfield. And look, fingers crossed, this team can go back to the levels that they've proven they're capable of the last 5 years. That's it from me. I'll see you in the next video.